Oh, very, very good morning to all of you for joining our What UK Facilities Management Public and Private Contracts coming out this year. This is our webinar that we do every year around this time, March, April, slightly delayed. This time it's on 6th of May, but thank you for joining and let's just crack on. So on World FM Day, which is coming up just in the next day or two, obviously the theme behind it is leading a sustainable future. Obviously, it's about to raise the profile of the facilities profession anywhere that is practitioner influence the health, safety, productivity, well-being of people who use the built environment. While we talk about the sustainable future of the people who rely on FM services, I recently did a webinar where I talked about why the FM market is screwed, and that's a good thing. You can search it in Google. It will land in our homepage and you could watch the video there. I think it's important. There are lots of challenges within this industry. And if you're unable to sort out those issues, it's going to take us in a very wrong route. There are 12 challenges I covered. Please do listen to that particular webinar, which will nicely take you into this contracts webinar. And it starts from what exactly is FM? Because as FM grows, and gets it converged into the enterprise resource planning, the building assets, the CRM, the prop tech, the social value, and the workplaces, ESG, and et cetera, the underlying principle of what is FM needs to be impacting on the contracts data. Is FM procured in the same way as it was procured previously? Or the tags of this new way of FM, is it really tagged in FM? We asked the question, and we answer the question over there. So if you're not aware, at Bachu, we provide clarity and insights predominantly for the growth leaders over the past 3 years. So 2018 is where things start to go on, but we started early on in 2015. So many of the leading FM services leaders within those companies, they use our services for sales pipeline management, for market strategies, for go-to-market, for business winning insights, bid strategies, capture management, and more. Today, we have an ecosystem of 25 plus products and services within Bachu, not just for the suppliers, but for the buyers and for the investors, and also for the wider ecosystem. They all rely on our data points to make sustainable growth decisions. So that's it from us. If you wonder who you are, where you are. So as I told you, 2018, where it all began, one pipeline after the other, we gradually built pipeline, and that means there was a lot of Excel sheets that was floating around. And when we consolidated all those contracts, we ended up having close to 8,300 contracts, 6,300 of public and over 2,000 on private. We categorized them, and we didn't realize, okay, what we were sitting on is a unique data set, because as you know, what you normally get from your daily OJU trackers that you subscribe to, it's the daily tender tracker. So they just tell you what contracts are coming out. But that's all great. But in sales environment, you do need to go build relationship and then go back and shape those relationships into tenders. So not necessarily the data points where the OJU trackers were giving necessarily covered everything. That's where we came in and we were boosting the pipelines for many companies. Fast forward 2020, Brexit and related things means the question of what is the firm started to tackle in, the test centers started to come in, and we then need to filter, okay, based on our friends. As you know, RAIN has its own collective called RAIN Collective, a forum of FM leaders. We then work together to filter off what could be the FM, what's not FM, and that's it. So the next phase of contracts data set was formed, 8,600 contracts. We then categorized into hard FM, soft FM, integrated FM. This is the time where we started to support the marketing leaders within the companies who were relying on some outdated qualitative reports like Frost & Sullivan, Mintel, etc. for their decision making. So we had a bottom-up approach of contracts. This is how the market looks like based on the 9,000 odd contracts we manage, rather than a subjective analysis of FM market sizes X, Y, Z. That's why we moved from a sales pipeline company into market insight company with reports, insights, articles, and we started to host webinars. So far, we have done 30 plus webinars, and this is one. 2022, we came into the next one. This consolidation of contracts now becomes the RAIN app, which is a strategic pipeline tool. So you can build a pipeline in 2 minutes or less. You simply can look into a contracts data set, pick up by contract size, pick up by contract type, hard, soft, and hard, soft IFM, pick up by what sector do you want to go, public or private, etc. And in 2 minutes, you will have a list of whatever the contracts. And that's Rain app. It has a daily tracker feature where you could plug in what comes up today and you can nicely monitor. So it's a strategic plus tactical tool. Unlike public providers, this also includes public plus private. So it's worth exploring. Rain app, please drop us a note. More than happy to check with you. So that's it. So with that data set, as you know, there is this unique funnel which, you bring people to your leads in the websites or in a relationship, convert them into, presentations, appointments, and then you propose proposals. That works in some smaller projects, say 10,000, 15,000, 25,000, 30,000. But UK being a commoditized world where most of the tenders have already been outsourced, it's important for you to know if you are reaching out to this particular prospect, whether that particular contract that you're aiming for is already outsourced or not. That's where we come in. So you do it the other way around, where you get the opportunity from that customer. Then you call them and say, hey, I know this tender is coming up for tender in the next year or two. Can you please add us to your procurement list? And you build relationship with them, shape the tender and try to go. Very unique, very different approach. That's where we come in. Why this is important? Because most buyers will need to build up a business case. And for that business case, they do need to have some insights. And, funnily enough, most buyers struggle to get a wide variety of suppliers to their tenders. So they end up procuring the same sort of suppliers. And in many cases, they could end up just having one supplier because other providers who joined in early on have no bid opportunities. You need to remember, how can you help existing suppliers who already have existing buyers who already have outsourced the services? How can you help shape their business case so that when the tender comes out, it's your solution? So if you're a pure hard FM player, then you could shape it and carve the TFM tender into pure play hard FM tender. If you are a TFM provider, and if you find a tender that's been outsourced as hard FM and soft FM separately, you can shape it to just say, hey, why can't you do TFM? If you're an SME working for these bigger players, having an understanding of the buyer and the incumbent supplier means maybe you could work with them very early on so that the spend could be justified. So, and it more and more. End of the day, the incumbency is very low, which means the existing supplier who's running any contract these days, is struggling to renew their contract because the buyer wants to have a new breed of suppliers, a new breed of solutions, etc. But failing to do that means it's a challenge. Remember that it takes 20% win rate these days. That's the average, maximum 30%. In good old days, it used to be 50% new business win and close to 90% of renewal. So everybody can be displaced in the market. That's it. So the procurement process now slightly moved on. Rather than to talk about heavy go sales and marketing, you just balance, hey, this is a campaign, but the campaign is aligned to the top 20 prospects. How do you know top 20? You already know what contracts expiring and you qualify them out in 2 minutes or less, right? Then you build your marketing campaign and do what we call account-based marketing. Finally, your proposals are already being shaped. That's how we position. From now on, I hope you got the gist of our approach. So if you understand the approach and the framework behind why we do what we do, now let's move into the data set. So before we get into the contracts, let's have a quick look at the market size. This market size changes every day. On a day-to-day basis, new contracts are procured, and these new contracts are coming out in different ways. New suppliers are coming. As of February 2022, when we finalize our data points, that close to 10,000 records. This is a bottom-up, private sector, public sector. If you have come to our websites and look into the past webinars, you might find this number as 110 billion and private sector 49, 51, public sector 49. Then, so, and the points move, and this is where we are. Either way, that's your high-level market size, which means it's still close to 50-50. But if you carve out the overall market, yes, TFM on the private sector on the top end is still a preferred model. But whether you are a pure play hard FM or a pure play soft FM or a supplier to any of these hard or soft FM providers or an integrated FM, we all have a 1/3 market share. That's the most important point. So let's slice the market. Okay, you might be a hard FM, soft FM player, but you might be playing on a unique sector. You might be playing only on the private, just on office and commercial buildings, or you may be just playing in the local government, or you may be just playing in NHS. There is a market for you. The top 5 markets, as you know, local government, Central government, the CCS framework takes most of it. And then you have office and commercial buildings and pharma manufacturing. If you go one level down, it's housing that comes out. And then you have energy utilities on the private sector. By far, collectively, these top 5, top 6 manages 2/3 of the market. So if you're not playing in this market, can you get into this market? If you are playing in this market already, how deep can you enter in this market? Those are the questions I want you to think. So hard FM, soft FM, when we carve out the market, this is our definition. If you are a Rain insider, we would love to get your thoughts to bring in, to have your inputs to it. So whether you're a cleaning provider, housekeeping, janitory, linen, patient transport, portering, or on this side, if you're a pure play lift maintenance, fire alarm test company, plumbing, energy management company, we would like to have you on board because it's important for us to have you to help shape the contracts, and through the contracts, we can help shape the market. So let's go deeper into hard FM. Hard FM, fine, we found it's 1/3 of the market, close to 38, 39 billion. How does it go through? Of course, local government still prefers to procure hard FM separately. Housing, together with local government and housing, 45% of the market, they procure hard FM. That's the largest market. Then comes the CCS framework and the central government, and then transport. As you can see, private sector not normally prefer TFM as a model, but you still see many office providers, 7% of the market, which is 38 billion, 7%, still procures hard FM as a market. So look into this. On this side, you're also going to find, based on our bottom-up analysis, some of the top 10 companies. These top 10 companies, as we grow, we are now adding more and more contracts to this list. So take this with a pinch of salt. We are building more. And as we work with them, as we kind of understand more about these existing suppliers, their contract size improves. So as an SME, can you work with these top 10 customers, or can we work with the suppliers? Through the suppliers, you could enter into the market. Same thing on the soft FM side. So similarly, 38 billion. Again, local government still the one, but surprisingly, leisure manufacturing comes up. As you can imagine, soft FM catering comes big in manufacturing, pharma, industrial, big units, warehouses, etc. Office and commercial building, of course, they need to have a small place where they could serve food. It's still on the top. Central government-ish still procures that way, 6%. But as you can see, local councils, so all comes in this sector. Again, soft FM, because waste comes part of soft FM, have included. Some school of thought, some of our suppliers are telling, hey, waste is not generally soft, but we may remove the likes of Veolia and Biffa, and we may include the other pure play suppliers like Churchill and others. So it's there. It's there for you to consider. Same thing with integrated FM. As you can see, top office, central government, CCS moving more and more, consolidating the spend. Local government always comes in the top. Manufacturing, pharma, NHS comes in here. NHS still does hard FM, soft FM. The most in-source sector is the NHS. If you work as a pure play soft FM players, you should be worried. We covered that in the challenges slide. So look into this slide by slide. There is a market. But if you're a pure play provider, or if you're an integrated provider, are you playing in the right markets? What are the adjacent markets? That's what this whole thing's about. So here you have some of the list of suppliers. You also have for few suppliers whom we haven't considered, mainly because they are up for sale. So either way, and we have just left them pure play there. So Integral, JLL could be consolidated. Amy is included. Some of the providers who are outside are entering the new market. But either way, as you can imagine, the top 20 now owns 36%, and it continues to increase. So keep that in mind. So now we talked about the UK market classified as hard and soft. Hope that gives you this. But let's go one level down and understand, okay, I am a pure play repair and maintenance. I do projects work, 1/3 or 1/4 of the hard FM market. When it comes to construction plus the FM, it still comes as projects. So you can keep that. If you're a mechanical, electrical, or if you're an engineering services company, as you can see here, at least 25% of the market relies on that particular service. So this is it. 38 billion hard FM, split by sectors. You know the sectors that's coming up. Within those sectors, if you slice it by specialist services, that's your play zone. So these are the moving parts. The underlying principle of sharing this is, go. I am a lift maintenance. I am looking in local government. Who are the biggest suppliers? Build up your relationship. Same story here. Cleaning services, food, and security waste management still comes as a top on this side. So keep that in mind. When you're looking what we have bucketed as others, on one side, you still find others. Yeah, this is where we want you to become Rain Insider, because we want you to dismantle this others part and tell us, hey, this flooring, roofing, escalators, appliance, etc., etc. Lift maintenance, escalators could very well be bucketed, but we just want you to help us, asset management, etc. Is it better to consider that more? Being a member, you could shape it. The same story on this side. We have taken out landscaping, house and housekeeping, parking, etc. in others. But can you help us to distill it slightly better? Of course, we have the data points. If you're pure play providers on this front office, etc., we'll be happy to share the details with you. Now you understand the market, whether you slice it by sectors, you slice it by services, or you slice it by specialist services, you have a role to play. Are you playing enough? If so, what's the maximum you could do? How much can you penetrate? Who are the key suppliers within those sectors, within those services? Third, if you're a specialist service providers, do you have a place? That's what we covered. Now let's get specific to the contracts. Out of the 9,000 or 9,800 odd contracts that we have, if you look carefully, close to 2,000 contracts are coming and hitting the market in the next 2 years. You can wait for this to enter in your daily tracker, or you could start to build the relationship with them now, especially Q3 contracts. It might be already too late. There could be some chance for you for Q4 before they get into procurement. 12,023, 100%. You should nail it now. As you can see, the volume of contracts is much higher on the local government, school side, schools and colleges. Then CCS, majority of the consolidated contracts might be coming out as call off from the CCS. Social housing stop. Then comes the universities. Collectively, they are the one. Office and stuff, as you can imagine, there is a lot of contracts that will be coming up. But again, that's where is it worth knowing how they were procured recently so that you could help shape it and say, hey, maybe there is another way of procuring. But if you're an incumbent, it's important for you to go and understand the contract details so that you could help shape with the buyer. Hey, your existing contract that you work with us, it's actually a value for money for you. Look at other contracts, look at other suppliers. This is how they procured so and so. Again, by far the most important slide. I know this is dense, but let's just now go slice the market into one layer at a time. So hard FM, as we spoke about, this is how you might have seen this already. This is based on the contracts, right? Previously, we talked about the market size, the overall market size. But today, now this is based on the 2,000 odd contracts. It's coming to the market. If you specifically take the hard FM slice of it, you are going to see, of course, the projects works will continue to be there. The others, which is what we looked into, the escalator maintenance and the asset maintenance, etc., still there, repair and maintenance. So these are some of the specialist services that's going to come out. But if you're a lift maintenance company, there is 8% of you is there. If you're a repair maintenance company, 19% of the upcoming opportunities is going to come to you. You can sit and bid, or you could know who they are. On the side, we have listed some of the larger contracts, specifically to hard FM, that's going to come and hit the market. So you can see some are housing, some are the councils, and some come from the CCS framework. Again, CCS in the new framework could be procuring it like previously, or they might make it as a TFM. We don't know, but it's worth thinking. Again, just specifically on the upcoming opportunities, not just the overalls, upcoming opportunities, you're going to find a lot of cleaning opportunities going to hit the market. Food is next, followed by security. Right? If you're a cleaning provider, do you know what those opportunities? 41% of this circa, 2 billion worth of opportunities that's going to come in. As you can see in the older cycle, where you saw 781 contracts worth 6 billion is going to come in. Out of the 6 billion contracts, 40% is going to be in cleaning. 24% of 6 billion is going to be catering, and so on. So on. Again, on this side, what could be some of the soft FM contracts that's going to come and hit the market. There are a few private and there are a few public here listed. Again, there is a long list of other contracts that we know. If you would like to boost your pipeline, if you know, please do drop us a line. Then comes what we call the hard and soft together, which we kind of consolidated here on side by side so that you could get to know what it is. So this is, you saw the hard services, and then you saw the soft services. As you saw on the slide that's next to that other slide, local government is going to be big, housing, central government, office, and commercial. So these are based on upcoming opportunities. Where do you think you should focus? Of course, the overall markets are different, but tactically, the next 3 years, if you're hard and soft FM providers, you should focus on local government, 100%. Housing, if you're hard, central government on both sides. Energy utilities comes on the soft side. Again, in this side, office is coming as the fourth, and the fifth on these. So look at these top 3, top 4 sectors and understand whether you have any reference point and get to it. Coming back to the integrated FM, as you can imagine, funnily enough, as CCS call off, it's increased from 12 billion to 35 billion. So fingers crossed that 35 billion spend is going to come in the next 4 years when the framework hits it. So, but either way, that's going to be big. Then comes leisure. Then comes, as you can see, finance and insurance and office, which you can imagine 15% of the market will be coming up just in the next 18 months. This is where the contract duration, of which is like 7 years, 10 years, very rarely 5 years, is coming and hitting, which means it's the first time this is hitting the market in a long time. Some of the contracts are listed here as the CCS contracts that's coming up here. We haven't specifically listed what they are. Drop us a line, more than happy to help you with that. Otherwise, there are some banks coming up, and there are some, interestingly, if you can look at the names of this, what we haven't done is, if you can, by the top 20 suppliers, what are the contracts of those top 20 suppliers specifically coming to the market? We'll be happy to do that, which means if these top 20 suppliers are busy in trying to renew their contracts, what is their probability of actually bidding for new contracts, right? If they are busy renewing. So that's it. On this side, specialist services, again, for cleaning and security, just we picked up 2 on the cleaning side. These are some of the market. So look into this. If you're a cleaning provider or if you're a supplier of cleaning consumables, etc. to these are some of those stuff that comes up. And if you're a security provider, pure play, this is it. But as you can see, cleaning plus security could very well be consolidated together. But for now, this is how they're procured. This is just a snapshot. There is a lot more contracts within, but we are just giving you a flavor for it. If you look at electrical, mechanical, and repair and maintenance, again, you can find what type of contracts are coming up. Yes, there are councils. There are some what we call fire-related opportunities. On this side, it's much more interesting. They still have housing, but you also have some other frameworks that's coming up and hitting it here. So you just need to look yes, there is a market for you, but the upcoming market based on volume is given here, but there are a lot more contracts coming up. Yes, I'm overloading you with data, but I just want you to focus on not just wait for the tenders to come in. UK is a commoditized market, and things are already outsourced. Just get those data and work with it. Same thing with the central government here as well. So it is what it is. So see how you can do it. Again, if you're a central government, the bigger bodies, MOD, MOJ, transport, DWP, it's all coming and hitting you in the next 18 months. On this side, again, local councils, you cannot explain, it's big. Closing it, what's more important? Now, this is by far the most important slide. Are you playing in those markets that's coming up? If so, can you go deeper? Do you know who the top suppliers in this region? Do you know what are the upcoming opportunities in this region? Hope this presentation was useful. Yes, I gave you a lot of details, but take a step back. If you are an FM business development manager, business development director, growth director, whatever your title is, if you are worries about how to achieve a in-year target, drop us a line. We'll help you to boost your existing pipeline into what it is. How can I strengthen my existing pipeline? How can I include more opportunities to my pipeline? How do I build relationship with my key prospects? Do I know my key prospects? And most importantly, how do I improve my win rate? If you are a 20% win rate, how can you help us with the intelligence to get in there? This answer is what helped us to build this database. Same thing. If you look into this, yeah, you can decide on this general report that tells you FM market is going to go 3%, 4%. Really? How do you know that? We are breaking our head with a lot of FM community leaders now, first of all, to define what is FM, let alone then create the market size, then go and fill those gaps within the data points. So if you want to have bottom-up market view, drop us a line. What is the size of the potential market? How do you get the competitive landscape? Okay, I know these are the top 10 suppliers, but I want to know what are the competitive contracts? All these are based on publicly available information. So again, that's one. And again, many of you might be a buyer. If you're a buyer, how do I diversify my supply chain? Can I get an independent view of the market? How do I benchmark my FM contracts? What are the trends and challenges that my other colleagues within this particular sector where I operate or my adjacent markets are facing? How have they procured their services, right? It's my supply chain resilience. right? All these things, drop us a line. We have the data point. In the FM market webinar, I also shared the previous FM market webinar where FM market score. I touched all these things without getting into details. If you think sustainability net zero is the future, you're nowhere near the actual top end of the market. You are still being used as a delivery partner, that too after all the cream of the consultancy and strategies all being placed. So look into that. And also, when the talent shortages happen, the reason we are facing this is there are the business development or the market shaping is now very low. Very, very smaller providers or few providers are actually doing it really well. So now this data points, I hope, would have encouraged more to get the data out of this, go and say hello to your prospects and build relationships. So all these things are in the previous one. So here is my request to you. If you find this information useful or if you've overwhelmed you, drop us a line. We can look into we will be looking into market by market. We'll be looking in services by services. We will be looking into sector by sector, to get deeper into what opportunities, what are the trends, what are the challenges. Those are the upcoming webinars. And this is just £99 a month or as little as £1,000 a year. So what's the cost of understanding marketing? How much are you spending? Just imagine whatever the sales and marketing budget you have, can you allocate 10% towards something new? And think about it. We are here, Rain Insider. You come in, we collectively help shape the market, define what is FM, define what's the market size, understand the contracts. Let's help the market to sustainably grow. That's my invite. So it's already written. There are webinars in there. There are lots of market insight bundles. You could also get our FM market, which is where this data points is coming in. You could also get a sneak preview of the Rain app that comes with a sneak preview. You don't have access to it, but you could at least get what is it and get a discounted price from that. Most importantly, we'd love you to welcome you into a Rain collective of a community, and we can start to discuss and have forums. I'm going to bring in roundtables with buyers, use your services to provide what we call office hours, webinars inside, bring in industry leaders to talk. All these are planned, but we would like to have you with it, and with this one, you could also, as I mentioned, get some of our other services like market insights, like proposal training, like business winning intelligence, go-to-market support, any bespoke research, anything that comes with it. But I just want you to play a role as little as £1,000. But if you have a bigger team, we can accommodate. But if a larger corporate, it's only £15,000. Imagine you have a 50 sales leaders, everybody trying to go to the market with not much understanding of the market. Some sales leaders might be well known, others might need little help. Enroll them towards it. £15,000 a year, 50 plus unlimited license actually for that. So get on board. Some of the interesting report that comes in. These reports are not left it for 4 years. They get refreshed every year. As soon as we finish the data points, we refresh, and then we refresh again. So invite you to that. Browse through our Rain member portal, join in, become our FM market. If you want to have details behind this, that's the report that's here. But joining FM Insider for £1,000 gives you access to this report. That's where the data come from. And you can also get sneak preview to our Rain app, where we slice and dice the market from there. So that's it from me. Hope that was useful. But what's more interesting is UK FM market ripe for disruption? 100% it is, because even today, the big businesses are competing on big issues, but totally in the silos. The buyers are desperate to have new suppliers on their thing, but they don't know how to get it. And the big businesses are trying to solve the problem themselves. And that reach is not the prospects they want to reach, but it goes to anybody and everybody, which means it dilutes the message. Then comes the wider thing of how is, rather than to make social value, net zero, etc., as a tick box, this community helps you to connect to the biggest suppliers, connect to the buyers, connect to the SMEs, so that how you can collectively shape the market. That's it. We are adding the wider technology partners like the prop tech, FM, software as a service, the workplace, ESG tech, the help desk providers, and the digital transformation consultants, including Big Four. That's our plan this year. So why not bring everybody and then let's start to solve it. But whatever happens, the underlying principle here is, guys, 9,800 plus records is what we manage. And as we grow every year, we are actually increasing the record set. FM is still procured the same way. Is it? 2015, how was the same buyer procured it? 2018, 2022. we can help you take it, which means we can help you to come out with trends in your chosen markets, what's been happening, how the buyers are doing, how the collective sector is procuring, and so on. So that's the path. The winners and losers always have a growing polarization, but having an understanding of data set would help you. But that's where we come in. More on this on June the 25th in our next webinar, where I'll be looking into, okay, now I build up the pipeline. Where does the growth opportunities are going to come from? This is tactical, what you just saw. June the 25th, specifically for RAIN members, we are going to go deeper on this. How can you connect your sales and marketing around the buyer using the data set? That's it from me. Hope that was useful. As I mentioned, the next webinar, June the 24th, 3 p.m. That's RAIN member only. Join in, drop us a line, just £1,000 a year, 10 plus webinars. You get one market report, plus you also have access to all the articles, plus a collective forum, just for £1,000 a year. Individual membership, corporate and SMEs. If you are a bigger organization, want to have a lot more people to it, just drop us a line, we'll talk it through. That's it from me. Hope that was useful. Thank you again for joining. So looking forward to supporting your growth needs. That's it from me. Take good care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.